if everybody can take a seat, we're going to get started.
Oh, God. Show off. I'd love to see him. Good morning. Good morning. This is a formal meeting of the Riverside Community College Board of Trustees public hearing. It's starting at 10:06 in the Corona Chamber of Commerce. And before we start, I will ask Dr. Brian Reese to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please rise. Place your right hand over your heart and begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. City. So this public hearing is going to be led by trustees Janet Green, the Vice President of the Board of Trustees, and Trustee Bill Hedrick. And as stated in the letter of invitation, that this is a hearing, it's not a question and answers. And the board would like to capture as much of the opinions, the concerns of the Photonics project. And because of the number of people and the number of speakers, we would appeal that you limit your presentations to 2 minutes. If it is necessary, I might use a discretion to add 1 more minute. That way we can all leave on time. And also because it's a formal and official meeting of the board, the meeting will be recorded. We want to make sure that everything is captured and captured accurately. And when you have an opportunity to speak, you will be coming to the front desk here, to the front podium here, and please state your name clearly and the organization you represent. And now I would like the board to give an opening remark before we start calling on the speakers. I will start with Trustee Janet Green, who is the Vice President.
Good morning, everyone. I want to tell you, it was crowded and traffic coming out of here. I haven't done it in a long time. So that just tells you I miss you. I've learned something this morning. Please forgive me. But it's a pleasure to be out here and see people, and see some of the people I know before. It's working? I can yell better than I can. To see some of the people that I do know from before, and new people that I'd like to meet when things break up, if you'd like. I'd like to talk to you. It is an honor to represent the college district out here. Because as you know, you are a very vital part of the college district. And so we're proud to be here and proud that you allowed me to show up and come here and be so patient for my few minutes late. I wasn't too many minutes late. I was watching because I'm a time over here. Thank you very kindly.
Next will be Trustee Bill Hedrick.
Well, I obviously agree with everything my colleague shared. It is a pleasure to be here. Not to be redundant, but I do want to say that we are absolutely committed to receiving public input. We want to make the very best decision for the college, for the community, for our region. And so it is important that we hear from you. And I plan on taking lots of notes. You know, we may ask a question now and then for clarification if we are uncertain regarding certain remarks. But otherwise, we are all ears and ready to listen. Thank you.
I think your chair is holding it. Good morning, everyone. I'm Yolanda Carrillo, and I'm the Vice Chair for the Corona Chamber of Commerce. And I'm your first speaker today. And I want to share some insights with you today prior to getting everyone else's comments. So I want you to follow it and pay attention. It's sort of the history of the project to date, and has some great insight for you. There have been missed opportunities for the Chamber and the Board of Trustees for RCCD to communicate regarding the Chamber initiative. While we, the Chamber, could find blame and point fingers, I do feel that we as a Chamber did not do our diligence specific to the Board of Trustees. We should have gotten them involved earlier in the process. I feel strongly that the former Chancellor, Dr. Burke, who was well versed in this initiative and attended the meetings in Washington, D.C. with us, should have updated the Board of Trustees and the new Chancellor, Dr. Isaac, prior to his departure. I think if we had communicated directly, there may have been a different scenario than today. Let me go through some more of the background of this Chamber initiative. In May 2017, Dr. Reese, Bobby Spiegel, Jennifer Stewart, and I attended a presentation here at the Chamber given by Dr. Bay of YK Corporation. Dr. Bay introduced us to the photonics systems and the potential of photons for many uses in space, military endeavors, and communications. The Corona Chamber felt this project aligned with the Chamber's mission and purpose as well. We also looked at the college's mission and noticed it also aligned with their mission and purpose. The whole initiative quickly took off from there as a project that could be viable to this region given the needed elements for the initiative to grow. The military base that was very close to the college, the region and the chambers in this region that could embrace and develop those ideas and the partnerships necessary. The environment right here in Norco, the atmosphere, the climate were suited for this kind of work and experimentation. It is exactly what is needed for this kind of work. Couldn't have asked for a better place. June, July, August 2017, both entities worked their prospective areas. Dr. Reese communicated with Norco College faculty, prospective partners, and his superiors. The Chamber communicated with business leaders and regional partners. The project is quickly adopted into a new strategic area of focus for the Corona Chamber's 2020 vision and plan. September, October 2017, several meetings were scheduled and held with the Norco Navy Sea Base, the college, business leaders and local elected officers, officials, and others. By the third week in October, a cadre of us was meeting in Washington, D.C. with Congressman Calvert and his staff. Congressman Calvert and staff were very receptive to the initiative and felt that it could be a very relevant initiative for the entire region. November, December 2017, MOUs were starting to form and partnerships were being formed. The project was moving very fast. There was even a possibility of funding being written into the federal budget to help with the feasibility study. Language had been written and I believe the funding would have been approved. On March 26, 2018, the project was now what anyone would consider coming together nicely. A meeting of over 20 scientists and the Office of Naval Research met at Norco College and several other universities. The new Chancellor, Dr. Isaac, was also present. Everyone was sharing their interest and excitement of having this regional workspace where research happens, where students study and are in training for employment, where the military could have access also to both of these new entities. This could frankly change the destiny for so many. Sadly, on May 17, 2018, I am at a meeting and I hear that the new Chancellor, Dr. Isaac, has been overheard telling folks out in the community that the project is a no-go at Norco College. I was really surprised, even shocked. I asked Dr. Reese what happened, and he did not know either. I immediately reached out to Bobby and we started calling the Board of Trustees, President Tracy Backer and also Virginia Blumenthal. I did get a response from Tracy. We did speak several times on the phone at length, and this brings us to this point today. Why we were all here. The conversation with Tracy happened in May and June and we finally were able to get this meeting scheduled. So like I said at the beginning, we are not here to point fingers, we are here to seek understanding. Nonetheless, we are here today to make sure the Board of Trustees and Dr. Isaac understand this initiative is a regional project that could have enormous impact on our region. Norco College, other universities, the military base, movement and economic development, and many lives. We are here to help each other understand and see all sides. I do want to make sure that since my phone calls with Board of Trustees President Tracy Bacher and all the inquiries that have been made on our behalf since then by many, all our communication has seemed to have helped with the Board of Trustees and the Chancellor's view of this initiative. Let us hope that after today, we come to an understanding of everyone's feelings and intentions. So let us get started. I'll call up our very first speaker today, and our very first speaker is, you want to talk? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So, do we have the forms, Peggy?
We're doing it in the order that's on here.
Okay. The first speaker would be Karen Spiegel, the mayor of Corona.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We are here, and we are in the right place at the right time. We are here to work together. Our cities, particularly Corona and Norco, have worked very hard over many years to develop a relationship. And now we need to work within the educational institutions. We need to find ways in which we educate our youth and our adults and keep them in our communities. Economic development is critical on combining our workforce with our business community. And that is evident by communities that work hard, and you have the educational institutions with the jobs that are offering the skilled labor for whatever industry, whether it's technology, photonics, whatever it is, as long as we match our business industry with our educational training. So we have to partner. This is a critical aspect on how we can all be successful. So I'm excited. I've been pushing this for years. It's finally come to fruition, and this just happens to fill that void. And so I'm hoping that we are all here together, and whether it's photonics or whatever it is, we need the business community and the education institutions to work together. We are partners, and our youth are our future leaders, and we will need to give them the best resources and best tools. So take lots of notes, please comment, share your thoughts, and let's go ahead and have an awesome day. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Mayor of Norco, Ted Hoffman.
Thank you, Chairman. I want to thank the members of the Corona Chamber of Commerce for hosting this consortium and getting all the community partners involved with the Norco College's proposed project. Education and the study of sciences have come a long way over 50 years. I can recall using a slide rule in college for my chemistry math calculations. I remember the first Texas Instrument calculators and thought, wow, I can spell hello in the screen, and thought that was cool. So we've come a long way, remarkable progress in our development of new scientific studies, research, and be able to apply them to improve our everyday lives. These new programs have given our children and younger generations great opportunities to find economic prosperity for our businesses and communities. I applaud Dr. Reese's vision to develop the science of photonics at the Norco College campus and create a program that helps provide future meaningful employment for future generations. From my research, there is a high job market demand in the use of photonics and related areas in several fields, and these jobs are paying very well. I do believe that the community colleges can provide great teaching venues and technical skills, hands-on training, and a good education for a base for students from around the region. This project could be quite an incentive for new businesses looking to locate in the proposed 100-acre commercial development on Mountain Avenue and First Street for light manufacturing, distribution, and development. But as a Norconian, I caution the idea of making the Norco College the hub of the new Silicon Valley, as some has proposed. As you all know, the Norco campus sits in the middle of our city. We pride ourselves on maintaining our large lots and animal keeping lifestyle. We do encourage good commercial growth, but we will not let it jeopardize our way of life. In over 50 years that Norco has been a city, we have worked with the Navy, State Corrections, and the college district to make sure that our lifestyle is respected. We have always tried to be good neighbors and partners. We have had our differences, but in the end, I think we have come up with fair and equitable solutions for all. As the trustees weigh the idea of creating this new study at Norco College campus, I would hope that they look at the current traffic, community, and congestion issues that we as Norco residents and the business owners on Hamner Avenue face Monday through Friday. While Dr. Reese has worked very hard to improve the traffic issues over the past year, this new program will likely entice new students onto a campus that already has over 13,000 students. Please bear in mind that the Norco students only make up 6% of the current student population. The Norco College last year began its plan for enhancing the Veterans Center, which was needed. As a veteran and a community leader, thank you for that. But this will also likely increase the number of students attending the campus. The need for a secondary access point for the college is very important if it continues to expand its curriculum. We as a city will continue to work with the college and the board of trustees where and when possible to make it successful, but we all need to take these issues into consideration as the college proposes its various programs. And with any new science, there are potential risks. While photonics is a very high-tech and clean development, it also does require a high energy source. We in Norco are very sensitive to experimental projects. We only have to look to the former Wiley Lab property and the contamination of percolates of the soil and the groundwater on Hillside Avenue to include the ground on Norco High School campus. Even today, the properties that surround the western site of the site are being monitored for the spreading contaminants from Superfund toxic cleanup. I respect Dr. Reese's zeal and efforts to have photonic studies project at the Norco College campus, and it would be generate a lot of good paying jobs for our region and research and development. I just want to make it clear to the trustees and other
Are you ready
community
to
leaders
wrap up?
to look at the entire impact this project will have on citizens of Norco currently and in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Next speaker will be Joylyn Murphy, Chief of Staff, Congressman Calvert.
I am Jolynn Murphy. I'm not the chief of staff, I'm the district director, but I'd love to get a raise. So let's talk to Congressman Calvert about that.
Thank you,
Yolanda, yes, I am though, thank you. Yes, I am. So yes, as everyone knows, Congress is in session, so Congressman Calvert is back in Washington, D.C., so I am certainly happy to be here and read a quick statement on behalf of Congressman Calvert. So it says, I am pleased to be here to convey Congressman Calvert's full support of Norco College's proposal to create a National Photonics Research Center. Norco College approached Congressman Calvert several months ago about this idea, and our office has facilitated conversations with NSWC Corona on how best to pursue a research center. As with the military in general and the Navy in particular, as they pursue photonics technology, it will be important to have the capability to research and calibrate. NSWC Corona is our nation's independent assessment lab, and Congressman Calvert supports the research and development of this technology and the associated testing and evaluation being done right here in Norco. It is important to understand that, as with everything, there is a process, and that we respect that the Navy must be consulted and lead the way forward on this collaboration. As everyone knows, Congressman Calvert wholeheartedly supports NSWC Corona and would support an expanded mission set to include photonics. The advice of the Congressman is to work in tandem with NSWC Corona and the Office of Naval Research to outline the way forward, but our office is happy to assist in any endeavor as we move forward in the process. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Dr. Young Day, Bay Corporation.
I'm Young Day, CEO of Kaiba Corporation and a resident of Corona area in the last 20 plus years. So I'm a resident here, although my company is in Orange County. First, I would like to acknowledge Corona Norco regional leaders. They've been really supportive, and RCCD, of course, and then Dr. Burke and Dr. Reese, and NSWC Corona, especially the Jennifer Stewart. Where is she? Oh, she's not here. Oh, she has been the powerhouse for putting all this together. And then, of course, Congressman Calvert. And above all, Einstein. 130 years ago, Einstein discovered light we see here composed of small particles. That's what we call photons. And that's what we are going to work on in this region. Okay, so when I was educated in UC Berkeley and worked at Stanford Research Institute in Bay Area from late 1970s till early 1990s, the Silicon Valley was very similar to the current Inland Empire. It reminded me old days. The focus of the right technology on silicon devices and its applications led to Silicon Valley's success. However, its economic growth has now reached a plateau. Currently, the world economics is moving out of the silicon age to the photon age and looking for a new technological hub for Photon Valley. I am confident that optimum area for establishing the Photon Valley is here in the Inland Empire regions along highways 15, 215, 91. And that the development of the Photon Valley can be ignited by the photonics centers that we are talking about here, dedicated to advanced photonics R&D. Of course, there are fierce domestic and international competitions. We are not the only smart people in the world, I guess. And thus, we need to establish a unique pathway to the Photon Valley. Several years of research and discussions with the Inland Empire leaders, including a dozen city mayors in these regions, starting from Temescal Valley, all the cities here, Paris, and to name a few, from educational, military, and commercial sectors, led us to conclude that the pathway should start with the high-energy lasers technologies, focusing on military and space applications. I'm confident that the time has arrived for all of us to carve out the vision for Photonics Center and eventually Photon Valley, and to march on their development. Thank you very much for your support.
Thank you, Dr. Bay. Next speaker is going to be calling on Commander Matthew Preston, Executive Officer of NSWC Corona.
Thank you. So I'm now a resident of Corona also for the last 30 days. So nice to be here. Many of you know that base started in World War II, and I think if we look back at World War II, we see the ending of the industrial age and the ending of or the beginning of the atomic age, and that's really contributed to the United States' success from World War II. But those times are over. We're now in more than the information age, and if we want to be competitive in the information age, that's going to require a lot of innovation, which is going to be dependent on education. And if we want to keep up with those countries that were our allies in the World War and are now, in many ways, our competitors. I think we can safely say that right now we're ahead in a lot of ways. Those countries send their children here to go to be educated. We don't send a lot of our children over to Asia or even into Europe to be educated as often as we see students come here, even out here into Riverside. So I think it's important that the Navy stays ahead in photonics. It is a growth industry. It is an industry that has a lot of growth, not just for the Navy, but for the entire Department of Defense. And with that technology, that innovation, education, I think that we'll see a lot of changes not only in national defense, but also in industry. So the Navy obviously is in a position where we're not here to support or dissuade anybody's decision, but we definitely look at it as a positive at the base. Thank you.
I now call on Dr. Brian Sue, Director, Technology Commercialization Office of Technology, UCR. Please forgive me, I missed one. Rich Cassisi.
He's not here.
Not here.
I'm here. Oh.
Hi, I'm Rich Cassis, the invisible sidekick to the manager. I have been a resident of Corona now for almost a year and enjoying living in this area. And I just wanted to tag on our executive officer's comments on a couple things. And SWC Corona is privileged to have programs allotted to us by Congress to work with both industry and academia to both jointly work on projects together, technology development, and also shared Navy technology with industry. And we look at the proposed Photonics lab as an opportunity that aligns very well with those type of programs. We're also very supportive of academia and industry efforts to expand our local communities' efforts in developing STEM capability for our students. We view any success in the STEM world as a national defense priority to keep up with our competitors that we have out in the field. Beyond that, we look forward to on the base to continue to work with the academia and industry and the chamber on future prospects of this project. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. Now I call on Dr. Brian Su from UCR.
Good morning, Brian Suh from the Office of Technology Partnerships. I'm here actually representing Dr. Michael Pisani, our Vice Chancellor for Research and Economic Development. So UCR, we are in support of this effort to build a regional photonics consortium here, not only for the region and the community. I think some of the key areas are research and development, workforce development, and economic development. I think that's really kind of the genesis of the purpose of the consortium here. We want to leverage our research enterprise that we have at the university, our students, our faculty, and innovation and entrepreneurship in the inland Southern California region. And so really, this is, I think, one way how we can set ourselves apart from the others in building kind of our core capabilities and our expertise. Regional, the photonics, whether it be agriculture, whether it be sustainability and clean tech. So this does align with our research ongoing at the university, as you hear from a few of our distinguished faculty in this session. So just wanted to share that we do support this effort and look forward to working with Norco College, with NSWC Corona, Caltech, and some of the other players in the consortium. So thank you very much.
Next we have Dr. Alexander Balandin from UCR again.
Good morning. My name is Alexander Balandin. I'm Distinguished Professor of Electrical and Computer Engineering, also University of California Presidential Chair of Material Science and Engineering at University of California, Riverside, and Director of UCR Nanofabrication Facility. I'd like to state that this is a very interesting initiative. Many faculty at UC Riverside would be happy to collaborate in this initiative, both in research and education. We do have expertise in photonics, optoelectronics, and also relevant material science engineering field. I would like to just explain that UCR is really in a growth mode, particularly in these high-tech areas. And as an illustration, I would like to mention that this year, Material Science Engineering program, which was created just 10 years ago, was ranked number 28th in the world. So 27th is University of Tokyo, which was created over 100 years ago. And I submitted proposal for MSc program which was approved only 10 years ago. And I think that this project, this initiative would create extra opportunities for collaboration, including for undergraduate research, student transfer to UC system, also exchange of researchers, and create new possibilities for experimental research because of the new equipment and facilities. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next we have Mr. Glenn Graham from Norco College.
I'm Glenn Graham. I teach electronics at Norco College, and we have 4 primary areas that we're interested in. Partnerships with universities and transfer programs, and technician training, as well as teacher training in the area of photonics. Currently we have 4 certificates being generated through curriculum that started last year and should be approved soon for optics and lasers. And this will feed into the photonics program nicely. We're in the age of the photon. We need to help our students prepare for the jobs of the future. They're here now. Photonics has been around since the late 1800s in one form or another, but we're finally getting to the point where we're reaching a limit where technology cannot grow without a change in the way we do things. It's as though we're changing from the gas lamp district to electric lighting, from steam engines to other forms, including electrical. And our students are not prepared. Currently we teach in physics, we teach optics, we teach about photons. In electronics, we teach that area, but we haven't so far combined the two. And we're in the process of doing so. Technologically, we're at the limit of the 5 nanometer scale is presumed to be the limit of how far technology can go in modern semiconductor design. We can only shrink transistors so far before all of a sudden they start to experience quantum effects. And as some certain materials change their properties, heat transfer is a problem. And in the quantum effects that are involved with Schrodinger equation and the Heisenberg principle, we just have to come up with new technologies. We can't keep doing what Moore's law said we could do. We are at that limit now, and so we have to prepare our students for the technology of the future, and that future is photonics.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to call on Dr. Vivian Lee from Norco College.
Thank you. I'm Virgil Lee. I'm an assistant professor of chemistry at Norco College. I'm going to take a slightly different tact because everything that's been said is wonderful. I want to talk about how this is going to benefit the students at Norco College. If we introduce a photonics program at Norco College, obviously we're going to expand our course offerings, which is a benefit to students. So students now have more choices. If we expand our course offerings in the photonics area, then we're also going to have to expand our STEM classes. So we're going to have more STEM opportunity classes for our students. If we have a photonics center on campus, we have the opportunity for our students to have internships at that center and perhaps even jobs at that center, which is another big advantage for our students. If we have this consortium model that President Reese is proposing, then we also have a seat at the table with all of these companies that will be employing people in the photonics industry, which I can see as a pipeline for our students into those jobs. So that's a benefit to our students. And then finally, and most importantly to me, is that at Norco College we are growing tremendously quickly, especially the STEM program. Chancellor Izak gave us a talk the other day and said that in the last 4 years, the district has grown admission or grown enrollment by 10%. If you look at that same trend in chemistry, we've grown by about 40 to 50% over that same time period. And we're getting to the point where we don't have facilities anymore to house our classes. We need to grow. The Photonics Center is going to bring much needed facilities to our campus so that our students have that opportunity, which I see as a benefit to our students, to our college, and to our district. Thank you.
Next, I have Mr. Dean Safe from Corona Car Star.
He's not available.
Not
So
available.
we'll skip.
Mr. Gordon McKelvey, Business Unit. There you are.
Good morning, Gordon McCauley from Rockwell Collins. I'm going to break a little tradition as well. I have a presentation. Sadly, it's a marketing pitch, so I'm not going to indulge you in looking at that. I want to show one slide in particular, But before I get there, earlier this year, Dr. Reese presented some of you may have been at the Economic Summit, and presented an impassioned speech on the capabilities of photonics. And he asked for 3 pieces of the puzzle and recognized 3 of them needed to make this position come to fruition. One of them was manufacturing capability and the ability of local manufacturers to be involved and engaged in a delivery arm to use this technology in the future. I'm here to say at that time we were developing something and I couldn't share at the moment, but I can today. There's an application that we have just patented that is a structural panel with lights embedded in it. Now, the interesting part of this is somebody will say, well, what's the big deal? Well, we build structural panels for the aircraft industry. So the question for you is, have you flown in an airplane lately? Okay, you notice that there's lights in that aircraft. Well, I have the ability to embed those lights inside of a panel, not attach it to the panel. This is a breaking tradition from everything out there, and it's an amazing methodology. But photonics gives us the ability to change the way light is presented through panels. So imagine the future state of an aircraft where you bring your phone to your stow bin that you've paid extra for, you put your phone up against a item on, and all of a sudden the stow bin goes from locked to unlocked. The only way that will happen is if light is transmitted through a panel, which I have the ability to make. Just in case you're wondering, we enable all 737s to fly. So we're kind of important in the business, and we're right in Corona, which is really cool. So I tell my workforce, yes, you should have a passion about what you do, because you're the reason why 737s fly. So in this little building right on West Rincon in Corona, we're making panels that, if I can flip to the last slide, please forgive me for a second. Again, it's marketing pitch. We serve not just the Boeing company, but we serve a number of others. So the position, the right-hand side of this slide represents a mocked up prototype of a curved structural panel for aerospace grade structural panel that was taken out of the Hamburg Air Show. Now, that's if any of you are familiar with the big auto shows of the world, this is the #1 air show of the world. And that design is patented from Rockwell Collins right now. It's a pretty special thing because most people don't know how the heck we did it. I'm not here to tell you how. But the very cool part is Dr. Bay came out to our facility in June to talk about what can manufacturing do to embrace this technology. The only way we can make that happen in the future and expand upon it is to have a qualified workforce that's going to engage in the future and develop the capabilities to allow this and more to happen. So I would encourage us to think about the relationship of making practical applications in the future that are much greater than that picture right there. I thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for indulging me.
Next we have
John
next will be John Haradi, board member of Corona Chambers.
So I'm gonna give you a different perspective. If you bought Microsoft on the original IPO, you still haven't raised your hand. If you bought Google on the original IPO, raise your hand. It's the first $1 trillion company in America. The average person gets 3 opportunities. I'm an entrepreneur, so I own and operate corporations. That's all that I do. I don't have the academic background. I'm very appreciative of it, trust me. But if 3 opportunities typically pass someone in their lifetime, the average person misses all 3. If this opportunity is missed, think about how it's going to hit and impact our economy. If you had bought Google originally, where would you be today? Right? We wouldn't be trying to create Photon Valley. The same rules apply to me. So when the opportunity is there, you have to seize it. This is our chance as a community to seize an opportunity that will have financial impact that no one in this room knows how to measure, including myself. I'm not stating that someone is or isn't doing something they're not supposed to, but don't miss opportunities. We have to encourage them to understand opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Dr. Albert Randall.
If you notice my collar here, I just had a ADCL, anterior cervical dissecting infusion, so my voice might vary a little bit. And at any rate, I'm supporting Dr. Reese on his advisory board. My background is in addition to my medical career, I'm a retired Air Force officer, and I was in acquisition management and space and hardware event. So I'm very familiar with types of things that the military needs in terms of the future of weaponry. And photonics, I think, is a foundation of what we will have to deal with on that issue. I think most of you have spoken on the advantages of that. I would add one other thing is that I'm a resident of Eastvale. Eastvale is the growing community and type of industry, both the education, the technology, and the industry that Photonics type lab would bring to Eastvale would be through the whole area. Eastvale, of course, will benefit tremendously from that effort. So with that, I'm in total support of the process, the project, and I think it's something that we really should look very seriously at. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I call Mr. Bobby Spiegel, the CEO, President of Corona Chambers.
Well, good morning, everyone. I just wanted to remind you, a couple of you, if you have not filled out the form and you would like to speak, now would be the time. You can get them in back, and then they'll log them in. As well, Brian is handing out Gordon's presentation, if anyone would like that. I want to start off with saying thank you to Dr. Isaacs, as well as Board of Trustee Janet Green and Board of Trustee Bill Hedrick. Thank you for allowing the Corona Chamber to be able to host this today. Reading the mission of the college and understanding where the district is, workforce development and providing technology and jobs for the students once they graduate is all part of that. I see this as a regional effort. You've heard from business community leaders, you've heard from professions in the academic area, and I just would like to give a little history lesson. In Corona, we had many opportunities that we kind of fell asleep at the wheel. The business leadership fell asleep some 25 years ago when an opportunity came to us to have a college in Corona. The only problem with Norco College is that it's in Norco. We want it in Corona. We love having a college that we can go to that is in Norco, but we would prefer for it to be in Corona. But a lot of us sat on our laurels, and I don't want to answer to my grandchildren 25, 30 years from now to say, well, what happened on Photonics? So I would like for you to openly look at and consider all possibilities. My wife and I have had a philosophy and a little family saying that goes like this: the purpose in life is not just to be happy. The purpose in life is to have mattered,
to have mattered whether or not you ever existed on the face of this earth at all is vastly more important than the temporary or egotistical illusion called happiness. Today, you have an opportunity to take this information back to the entire Board of Trustees and to really make a difference. And hopefully, as your grandchildren and my grandchildren and future generations look back and they realize that this whole valley will now become known as the Photonic Valley, you can turn around and say, you've mattered. Thank you.
Bobby. Next will be Dr. Harry Tom, Professor of Physics and Astronomy at UCR.
Hello, I'm Harry Tom from UC Riverside Physics Department, and I'm actually a professor who specializes in lasers and photonics. So I'll take this opportunity first to say, just in case you don't know, it is absolutely not too late to compete with the Bay Area in the area of photonics. In fact, the federal government, under the Trump administration, suddenly got scared that China and Germany in particular were far ahead of us in quantum computing and quantum information, and threw a ton of money in all the federal agencies for research. And this is really all related to photonics. So you may be aware that the National Science Foundation has 10 big wish things for the next decade, and one of them is called Quantum Leap, but actually it's about harnessing photonics for quantum information. The Navy has a similar one for quantum cryptography, quantum information. It's all driven by lasers. So while this photonics center is, from the Navy side, is sort of predicated on a gigantic laser project, the photonics part of it is related to the entire spectrum, from high energy lasers for defense down to small, tiny photonics optoelectronic devices that are going to be used for quantum information. These are the things that are going to eventually be able to help us compute the weather. Incredibly complex problems, which cannot be solved today. And so, being a part of that, we are definitely not too late. We are at the cusp where there's suddenly a lot of federal money going to this. We have to learn how to compete with Germany and China. And just when we had our initial meeting, my first response was, we need manufacturing of components of ultra high quality. Right now I'm a researcher, I have a $4 million research budget in a laboratory, and I buy almost everything exclusively from Germany. And if not, then I buy low-cost things from China. Okay, and then I make them myself. Okay, so, I mean, that's how we operate. We don't buy from American companies. And that's not because I don't want to buy American, it's because I buy the best stuff. And it happens to be from Germany. Okay, so, this is an opportunity for us as a country to contribute to that effort. And of course, I'm at UCR, and we will certainly be sort of the transfer point from Norco College to the university and then back with a bachelor's degree or master's degree for employment or specialized training perhaps to work in a photonics center or at the naval base. So I'm very eager to participate, and UCR in general is ready to participate.
Next speaker will be Ellie Van Gurnam from Consulting.
I'm Ellie Van Dornum. I'm the COO of Cloud Consulting. Before I had Cloud Consulting, I became a mom. Before I became a mom, I spent 17 years teaching in the classroom, K through 6 education. When my now first grader came to the age of going to school, I recognized that he had a very heightened interest in science and STEM-based subjects. So I searched high and low for a STEM-based curriculum in a public school system type setting, and I guess I failed to mention I'm a Corona resident. I drive 17 miles one way to get my first grader to school in a STEM-based curriculum school. My point here is piggybacking off of what Dr. Lee was talking about, how this can only benefit our students at Norco College, then UCR. Let's take it down a little bit, all the way down to kindergarten and TK. we bring photonics here into the Inland Empire, the elementary school systems are only going to have no choice but to keep up and implement STEM-based curriculum throughout. We have got to compete with the world, with technology, and this is how it's going to happen. Thank you.
Our last speaker is going to be Don Dix.
I don't think I'm the last, but I hope I'm not the last.
Do I need this?
Okay. Is there any others that want to speak? Did you turn?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, I missed one.
That's okay. You have more?
I can relate to John's comments about Microsoft and Google. When I was 20, I moved out of Baltimore to San Diego to go to UCSD. I wanted to be a cook, but I couldn't find a job doing that I liked. So I answered an ad for a company called Spin Physics that was in Sorrento Valley. My first paycheck from Spin Physics, paid every other week, was $80. You do the math. After about 90 days, they liked me so much I got a 50-cent raise. Do the math on that. So I stuck it out. Spin Physics was the very first company to develop in Torrey Pines. We were a black obelisk building, and it was an exciting time to be there because it was the beginning of the technology development in San Diego. I directly benefited from the vision that individuals that developed that technology center had. Economically, education-wise, I went to UCSD, changed my major from oceanography to electrical engineering as a result. And it made a huge difference in my life. And I never knew at the time that what was happening was the result of individuals that had the vision to embrace the future. And I directly benefited not knowing from that. You know, we wonder where are the kids that are growing up in this area going to move to? What are they going to do when they grow up? Will they even be able to buy a house in this area? I was able to do all that at that time because the opportunity that the people that had vision to embrace the future had. And you can drive down and play golf in Torrey Pines today and look at the technology center that surrounds that golf course. And in 1978, that was an empty area, but somebody who had vision to embrace what was prized as local open spaces. It still, you know, has a lot to offer in terms of recreation, but developed a future for that area that went way beyond what they originally thought. This has that potential, and that potential for our kids that are growing up here, and that potential for some kid who's 20 years old that lives on the other side of the country that's looking for a future.
I missed Mr. Dave Saunders.
He'll be last. Dave will be last. These guys first. Okay.
Next will be Lenny Christensen.
Good morning, I'm Lenny Christensen, and I will be a resident of Corona, Norco. Not yet, but I live in the Inland Empire. And I am in the construction industry for the past 15 years now, and I forever see myself maintaining that posture. The Inland Empire, right here in our backyard, currently has the largest land under development, or more than any other place in the entire United States. We are so privileged to be here in Corona, the border of Orange County, where there's a lot of high-tech happening already. The Inland Empire is booming, from what I can see, and the facts speak for themselves. There's so much building, manufacturing, construction, in a very already agricultural rich state that provides so many resources to many parts of the rest of the country. And it's right here, we're sitting right here at the border of what can be greatness. Construction is very important to me, and how this correlates back to photonics. You need it. if you build it, they will come, right? So we need to build the much-needed facilities that are necessary to make this vision a reality. As Dr. Lee said, the relationship of making practical applications is present and among us right here and now. Now is the time that we must listen and we must do. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to call on Kimberly Davidson.
I don't have an inside voice. I'll just talk a little bit. Hi, everybody. I'm Kimberly Davidson. I'm the Economic Development Manager for the City of Corona. We have really been working on building a tech community here. Riverside County has not historically been known as a hub of innovation and technology, but several of us, and some in this room even, didn't believe that to be true. So we've really been working on that for the past couple years. We have a monthly tech meetup where we get 40 to 50 people at this tech meetup every month in Corona. The workforce is out there. We need to wrap our arms around them. We need to support them more. We need to bring Photonics to Norco College and to Corona and to Riverside County. And we really need to build up Riverside County as a place that Orange County needs to reckon with. And we just recently did an ad in the Orange County Business Journal that stated basically that. We have a lot of entrepreneurs here. We have the workforce here. Most of them, unfortunately, drive into Orange County every day to work, but they are here and we need to support them, and we need to bring more here to support them to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Jeff Gibson.
Hi, my name is Jeff Gibson. I'm a consultant with the Corona Chamber. I've been an advocate for community colleges for decades. My family's been active in community colleges for decades. The cell phone, the Apple iPhone was announced at Foothill College in Silicon Valley. If you ask anyone was in Silicon Valley in 1965, 1969, where they went for workers, they went to Foothill College. And whether it's Hewlett Packard talked about the importance of Foothill College. They talked about the importance of Stanford College, where they had graduated from. They talked about the importance of the workforce that they had that was trained at Foothill College. It's in the HP way, which is basically the to-do book if you are going to start a tech company. And it's been studied throughout the university system, and routinely they talked about how community colleges of that area turned what had previously been known as Prune Valley, because that's where where plums were grown, where raisins were grown, into what we now know as a Silicon Valley. And not that we're looking to replace anything necessarily here in this area, but the community colleges, and as you guys know, it's an economic jewel that is very unique to California. And if we went 150 miles that way to Clark County, Nevada, you'd see that they have one community college for Southern Nevada and one in Northern Nevada. And if you go to almost any other place around the country, a community college you get one for about every 5 million people. You guys lead what is really an important economic development tool and a great opportunity for those students, as has been said before. But just to give you an idea, this is not new. You're not plowing new ground as a community college, because Foothill College and the community colleges in the San Jose area have been doing this for generations. They've been the key to that rise in the economic ladder. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we have Mr. Eugene Montañez.
Thank you. I've been associated, obviously on the city side, with the Navy base. The Norco base is one of the best kept secrets in the Inland Empire. If you talk to most residents in this area, they don't understand that we have a Navy facility here, let alone over 1,000 jobs, that the average pay is $100,000. So it's ridiculous that we have that asset right here, that people don't realize what's here, and we don't appreciate it. And one of the things that we did as a group a few years ago went to the Naval Center in Indiana, And for those of you that don't know, this center here does testing. So there's no weapons development, anything like that that's actually done here. It's a testing facility. In Indiana, they have a facility that it has a far more reaching mission. But what they also have is an off-base facility that connects with the business community and the educational community so that there is that interaction. One of the other things that's very unknown about the bases and the research that's done, there's an opportunity for tech transfer. Any patent that's made at any of these facilities are paid for by our tax dollars. So any industry can actually license those patents and use them for commercial purposes. We need to be able to bring that opportunity off base and encourage our business community, encourage other businesses to interact. The economic impact of what we have today is over $250 million with the base right now. We need to really make sure that people understand that and we grow that. One of the things that we have a unique opportunity right now is our congressman has the ability and the wherewithal to help bring this mission here. This is not necessarily something that we're asking RCC to fund 100%, although you could. But what we need is the ability to be able to bring that facility and have it come with open arms. Because as you've heard, there are so many far-reaching abilities that we can have with this facility and with the growth that we could have. Right now, this base has no opportunity to test laser-based weaponry or anything like that. This would actually allow the testing of those facilities, both communications, there's a lot of things that I've learned, and electronics, my dad was a rocket engineer, a rocket scientist that can't work a computer today. But so, I've been around this all my life, and the technology that's based around the laser systems is just amazing. So I encourage that we really be able to push this. The other thing that isn't well known is that Elon Musk has been in this area. Jeff Bezos flies into Riverside on a regular basis. We need to make sure that we are not the best kept secret any longer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Have I missed anyone? Is there any other person who wishes to speak?
Dave Saunders now.
Okay, so now I will ask Mr. Dave Saunders to be the final speaker.
Good morning, I'm Dave Saunders. I serve on Dr. Reese's President Advisory Council, and we've been working hard on a number of projects. I'm the closing speaker not because I have anything new to add, but I'm going to ask to summarize what we've heard today and to give the board members a to-do list, if I may be so bold. And we'd like you to do the following things. Number one, we'd like the district to send a letter of support to the Photonics Consortium, supporting what you've heard today as far as the development of a photonics program. We'd like the district to place a call to Congressman Ken Calvert and indicate the board's support for the Photonics initiative. We've heard about his influence and ability to support this type of program, and a follow-through from the district on this would be very helpful. Third, we're asking the board to adopt the Photonics initiative as part of the Riverside Community College District legislative agenda. In other words, make it a board priority for your legislation going forward. Next, we'd like the board to support exploration of locations for the Photonics Center, including the Norco College property. Next, we'd like the board to support exploration of funding sources for the Photonics Center, including general obligation bonds, federal appropriations, private investment, and other sources. In other words, we'd like the board to help us look for money. Next, and finally, we'd like you and your staff to join the consortium, attend meetings, and help with the development of partnerships to develop a photonics center at Norco College. Thank you.
Okay, I think that brings us to the end. I would like to thank all the speakers and thank the Corona Chambers for making this possible. I will revert back to our Board of Trustees if they would like to make concluding remarks.
See how we get along?
You want to use the microphone?
I don't know.
Okay. And before you leave, if you did not sign in, please do so that we can get the appropriate acknowledgements to you. Thank you.
The first thing I'd like to do is tell you once again, I'm sorry I was a little late, but if you'd get less traffic, it would have been better. I'm very pleased and honored to be here and really have enjoyed listening to each and every one of you. There's a lot to be done. I'm interested in helping as a trustee whenever possible. We have to work together. The board is nothing more than a symbol of you people, is what we are. And this is the first time that I've been on the board that any group has ever met with us. So that means Corona's first.
Yes. Woo!
From myself personally, come December, I'll be retiring from the board. And has been a very unique 12 years. But this morning, I have to honestly tell you, is the best thing that ever happened to me since I've been on this board. Wow. And with this, my peer's gonna take over because he's the gentleman of the family.
You know, I was a teacher for 36 years, so I don't think I need that. I'll use my my outdoor voice. Anyway, I also appreciate very much the opportunity to hear from you in detail. I appreciated the historic overview that we received from Yolanda at the beginning of the presentation. Janet and I both commented that you know, it's unfortunate that the board was not apprised of many of the meetings that were occurring within the community related to this. And so, you know, as I say, I regret that, but we are very mindful of the opportunity that this presents. I have to tell you, as the trustee that is elected to represent Corona, Norco, and Eastvale and their interests at the Riverside Community College District, I take the obligation very seriously. And I know all my colleagues do as well, but I have listened very carefully. I am not prepared to ask you a lot of questions immediately, but I'm sure we are going to have some follow-up questions regarding detail. But I also want to share with you several of the speakers when you spoke to the opportunity for our students. Now look, I'm mindful of the economic opportunities that this may present, that it almost certainly will present. And not to go too long on a soapbox, but look, I came out here from Orange County. I do not want one resident of Riverside County to travel into Orange County to work. I think we are a quality area, a quality community. Not only are we underappreciated and under-recognized and under the radar, but we're treated, I think, occasionally with, perhaps the word is too strong, but let me just say what I feel in my heart. I think that we're treated sometimes with contempt. I am proud of being part of the Inland Empire, and I don't apologize for it. I still have my 909 area code. So at the end of the day, though, I want to combine these things for us to do what is possible for us to do. I understand that you are also asking that we enlarge our mission. to the extent that this may not fit with our mission, I understand that you are interested in expanding the mission. But again, we are community college trustees, and the one thing that I am absolutely committed to is leveraging the very best possible and the most opportunities for the students that are entrusted to us. Now, I love UCR, it's wonderful. I love K-12, I was Corona Norco trustee for 22 years. But right now, I love Riverside Community College District and Norco College. And what we can do for those students and leveraging the very maximum is what will make this project a very viable and attractive thing for us. We are interested in building the future, not only of our region, but quite specifically for our students. I am telling you, if you invite us, we will come. We don't get that many invitations. So Janet and I appreciate the chance to get out once in a while. Thank you.
Just say yes, Bill.
I thank you all, and this meeting is now adjourned at 11:12. Thank you.
Thank you.